What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day. Now, ladies and gentlemen, boy oh boy, these next couple of days are going to be something different when it comes to the content that I'm going to be showing you guys on this channel, because seriously, Treyarch is beginning to grow in ego like no other. Honestly, for the longest time, I thought Treyarch and Sledgehammer Games would be the only development teams that would really, hunker down for the overall community, but it seems as time goes on, Treyarch is becoming just like Infinity Ward, if not worse. And there's a reason that we will never see. Like, for example, the gameplay footage on this video right here. We will never see a return to the glory days of something like World at War, or Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2. All of the best games in the franchise. There's a reason we won't see these, and that's because the developers refuse, absolutely refuse, to take any feedback, listen to anybody's words, take any criticism whatsoever. And their only goal is to push in the direction that they want to go ahead and push in. But ladies and gentlemen, I actually saw a post by IGN over on Twitter, and I saw a couple of other people go ahead and discuss this, but I want to discuss this for myself as well, because low-key, it's actually pretty insane. But I'm going to put up the video, here that they have over on their channel. Again, I'll leave a link to everything down in the description of this video. You guys can listen to it, and then we'll go ahead and discuss right afterwards.
In recent months, there have been more than one suggestion from members of the games industry that Call of Duty games are lazy and that the threat of EA's rival shooter Battlefield 6 will force a change in approach from Activision. In a recent interview with IGN, we put both of those suggestions to Black Ops 7 co-developer Treyarch to get its response. Some industry peers believe that the annualized shooter series is in need of some healthy competition. At this year's Summer Game Fest, Splitgate 2's director stated that he was tired of playing the same Call of Duty every year. That sentiment is seemingly shared by former Blizzard president Mike Ibarra, who posted last week in relation to the latest Battlefield 6 open beta, Battlefield will boot stomp Call of Duty this year, but the real win here is Call of Duty won't be lazy anymore and we'll all get better FPS games for it. Speaking to IGN, ahead of Black Ops 7's opening night live reveal here at Gamescom, Associate Creative Director Miles Leslie said Treyarch tries to shut out the noise and focus on delivering the best game possible. When asked about the lazy claims, Leslie said, "You just don't worry about it, right? When we start, it's not like, what are they going to think? It's like we have a vision, we're going to hit that vision, and there's always going to be people that are going to try to knock you down and not have positive criticism, which we do look for. So it's like noise, right? You try to cut through that and stick to your vision and plan." As for the threat of Battlefield 6, we asked Leslie if DICE's game pushes Treyarch on, or even if the developer thinks about the game at all. Leslie said he'd played Battlefield 6, but is focused squarely on Black Ops 7. "I got to play this weekend," he said. "It's a fun game. We're fans of all games, and I think we look for inspiration anywhere. But we're focused on our own craft. They're doing their thing. We're fans of the FPS genre. We're fans of lots of games. Let's all have fun."
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I actually heard a video from Big Fry, which I think he made a phenomenal point here. When the community says they think that Treyarch and all these other development teams are being lazy, they don't mean when it comes down to pushing out these games, because realistically, they're the least lazy teams out there when it comes to cranking out titles. Game development is not easy whatsoever. Putting together these projects is very hard. And the fact that they can pump them out on a year-to-year basis, although they do have tons of bugs and issues and problems, but, make any other team go ahead and handle this task, and you'll see how bad it will truly get. So I don't think anybody is saying they're lazy, right? Because they are on a very tight schedule that they have to follow on, a year-to-year basis. But I think that the term lazy is coming from the fact that, again, they're becoming too repetitive. Having Call of Duty on a year-to-year cycle strips away the creative freedom that these developers have to putting together truly passionate titles. And now all we get is the same cookie-cutter, copy and paste, rehashed garbage that we see on a year-to-year basis. Over half of the stuff that's being introduced into Call of Duty now, ladies and gentlemen, is literally remastered content to bring back hype. The whole selling factor of Black Ops 7 right now is, once again, doors, no tax sprint, and also going ahead and having a game that looks and feels like Black Ops 2 in multiple different ways. That's it. Yeah, they have a bunch of new content, but they're heavily relying off of nostalgia to give them that initial bump, that initial hype to get people into the overall project. I mean, we're still seeing rehashed characters from years ago being re-implemented into the Call of Duty franchise. Why can't we have any new IPs? Why is it Modern Warfare 1, Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, Modern Warfare 4, Black Ops 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? Why can't they step out of the boundaries and do something new? Why is it always remastered stuff? Because again, the yearly cycle doesn't give them the true correct time to be creative, to actually come up with engaging stories and, engaging differences and, unique changes within the Call of Duty world. They can't do that, okay? They just simply can't. So they rely off of nostalgia to bring people back into the overall franchise. I mean, do you remember the Model Warfare 2019 trailer? I feel like the community is so split on this because I still think it's, one of the worst ones that has been released. But there's some people who say Model Warfare 2019 is the best Call of Duty game to ever be released. Regardless, it doesn't matter what your opinion is. The hype started when they went ahead and showcased Price in the trailer. The second Price popped on up, guess what? The whole crowd went wild. And it seems like every single year they're trying to do that same exact type of nostalgia bait, where instead of actually putting together a new game that will get people hype and really excited, they're just using previous characters and previous, again, nostalgia to get that hype on the roll. It's disgusting practices. But at the end of the day, it's hard to blame the devs when it is the publisher who is forcing out the game in such a way. But what I could really go ahead and put on the devs is how they handle criticism. This is disgusting if you ask me. Basically, the way that they described it is they're like little children on the playground, putting their fingers in their ears, screaming, la 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 la, I can't hear you, la 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 la. That's all I'm getting from that response. That's horrible. That shouldn't be the case. I understand that some criticism you can't listen to. That's just the ways of the internet or even business in general. Some people are just going to be douches. It is what it is. They don't have any drive to want to see your product succeed. They don't care what happens to you. They just want to see you fail. But there are plenty of people out there who are salty with where Call of Duty's at, who want to see it become better, who are trying to give valid criticism. And the fact that you guys are just plugging up your ears and saying you are not bothering with any of these, claims, and you're just going to keep doing what you're doing. See, that's where the statement COD is too big to die really worries me, because that's where we're at right now. They don't feel like they have to listen to the community whatsoever. And honestly, can you blame them? It's the community's fault. They keep buying it. You see, Battlefield 6 is a perfect example. We are getting what we want because we are speaking, but not only just speaking, people left the game. Everybody always pins it on creators, but there's plenty of creators who stuck with Battlefield 2042, including myself, covering the whole lifespan of that game. But guess why it got the changes it needed, it required? Because the overall mass majority of players, not the creators, the mass majority of players actually stepped back and moved on to other things. The Battlefield community actually acts when they are disappointed. The Call of Duty community doesn't. They don't. They spend thousands of dollars in the store when they're pissed, and they continuously play the game when they're pissed, without even trying any other alternatives. Which means that, at the end of the day, they can talk the talk, but the statistics still show that Call of Duty is doing fine, so why would they change anything? Why would they listen to the community, And that's why we keep getting the same crap over and over and over again. But seriously, that's a horrible way of seeing things. And that was just such a disgusting answer, in my personal opinion, because it screams Infinity Ward ego. And the fact that they're not willing to take any of the community feedback on how the Call of Duty franchise should be pushing forward, especially from, OG players, it's a very scary scene for the Call of Duty community. It really is. And it's not, I'll repeat that, it is not a good sign whatsoever for the future. Every single statement that leaves any of the developers or any of the, heads' mouths at Activision is negative. Activision is saying the game's too big to die. Developers are saying they just clog up their ears and just ignore all the negative feedback. What have they said that, says anything about the community in a positive light? Nothing. If anything, I feel like we're just continuously getting mocked again and again and again. But as I literally just stated, can you blame them? The COD community won't do anything. They're not going to go away. They're not going to leave the game and play something else. They're not going to try to push for other titles. They're not going to go play smaller games and try to, bring them up. They're not going to do anything besides hop back on and spend thousands of more dollars in the game and, just go about their day-to-day lives while they continue to complain about the same problems that have been littered throughout COD for ages now. But ladies and gentlemen, do me a massive favor and go down in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think about all this information. Do you think that, Treyarch is in the right with what they're saying here? How they are just kind of ignoring people saying that they're lazy and just going about their business and pushing out their projects? Or do you think that they should be listening to the overall community? Again, not to all the people who are saying they're lazy because they just want to be douchebags, but, those people who genuinely care, who want to see the franchise not be lazy. Do you think that those voices should be heard as well? I don't know. Like I said, let me know down below. You guys already heard my opinion. I would love to hear all of yours. But ladies and gentlemen, as always, if you enjoyed today's video, leave a like. If you hate it, leave a dislike. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. I post your daily at 8 morning Eastern time. Everything between COD, Splitgate 2, Arc Raiders, Battlefield. You best believe you hear it on this channel. And we also double upload on this channel at 5 p.m. Eastern time. So again, subscribe and hit that bell so you stay notified on all the content that goes live here. And last but not least, if you guys are interested in my live streams, I stream Monday through Saturday over on Twitch, starting between 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern time. Of course, if you guys are interested, I can link that channel down in the description of this video. But as always, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you all next one. Peace out.